Their insight was, if you spend more money, you'll make more money.
On brand especially. Oh, you're not capturing all your brand. Like, yeah, I am.
It's like, well, they know my brand name. I don't need to spend on that.
Yeah. How come I have all this direct in Google Analytics? Which, although actually that's usually because it's crap not stitching together a good journey. But I have all this direct. Why do I need to pay for the direct I'm already getting?
Honest eCommerce is a weekly podcast where we interview direct-to-consumer brand founders and leaders to find out what it takes to start, grow, and scale an online business today. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Honest eCommerce. Today we've got an awesome bonus episode for you. Today I'm welcoming Scott Desgrosseilliers, the founder and CEO of Wicked Reports, the marketing attribution platform for e-commerce brands from 3 to 30 million in revenue doing full funnel marketing. Scott, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Chase. I like being considered a bonus anywhere I go. So
absolutely. I love anything that's free, I guess. I don't know. Is that what bonus stands for? I don't know. So just quickly, let's set the stage here. Obviously, you're the CEO of an amazing SaaS company, but like, what gives you the right to call yourself an expert in this marketing e-commerce world? Give me your backstory.
A couple things. Let's see. I almost got a patent in first-party data attribution, although no one called it that when I did it. It was, let's use real leads in sales and start from there. And then getting a patent is something challenging to do and a lot of money and time. So be careful if you think you might get one. I've been doing it for 25,000 hours, probably more. I don't recommend that. But if it takes 10,000 hours, I'm like double expert or I'm just a slow learner, one or the other. And, we've tracked, about 10 billion in ad spend at this point, over 20 billion in revs. So, we've seen a lot. And so just being in the trenches for a decade.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited to get into it. Now, I guess first and foremost, like what do we want to discuss? What are we going to dive into? What are we going to pull the curtain back on?
Sure. I guess, there's common mistakes made in marketing attribution. It's why it's often considered frustrating for people. And so I hope to unlock why it's frustrating, more importantly, the solution, not just dig the pain points. A framework you can use for data decision making in general, and particularly around marketing attribution data. Advances AI, how AI has helped make things faster and easier. You can start there. Attribution models to use and ones to avoid.
Absolutely. I do want to get into it. But here's a first question. This was actually a question I was asked yesterday.
Okay.
And it was basically like, do you trust attribution? They asked me this, and I was just like, as much as the next guy, I don't know. It's like it is kind of just to some it's a black box. It's smoke and mirrors. So maybe could you help me just distill that a bit more? Like, should I trust attribution, or how can I get a better sense of my attribution?
Well, yeah, it depends on your source, and if you can't transparently verify the data, you probably shouldn't trust it. So, we start with order ID pulled from your orders and look back in time against everything we have to figure out who and what and when they clicked on things and which clicks are important or not. But, Facebook and Google, it's the fox watching the hen house. Their goal, they want you to make money only because you're going to spend more, but they're not going to ever, the first time they tell you, hey, stop spending with us and go spend somewhere else, that will be the first time I've heard it. And you can't trust the attribution data unless it's actually told you to spend less on something. That's just because not everything, it's 80-20 rule, really. 20% of your campaigns, what drive the winners. So if something's always telling you to spend more or just do more work and never to just like stop spending on something, you shouldn't trust that.
Now I'm just going to jump right to the sales pitch. Is that something that Wicked Reports does?
Yeah, we transparently show everything. Every time-stamped everything.
Well, I'm just saying, like you say, don't spend as much on this campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And vice versa, maybe spend more on this campaign.
So we classify it now, which is new, scale, kill, chill. Scale, spend more. Kill means better fix something or else kill it, which we try to deduce with the data and tell you whether it's savable or not. And then chill's kind of nice because, everyone's busy as a marketer. Chill means you can keep spending the same amount. You're not killing it, but you're making enough money in your range that you define that you can worry about other stuff today.
I think that's a good metric. It's spend more or kill it. It's like, no, it's like, it's fine. Just let it be. Things can be fine in business.
Yeah, well, I found with traditional goal setting applied to marketing, if you just set a goal like I got to acquire customers at $50, you always have to think it's either, oh, it's below 50. Oh, let me go see if I should spend more or scale it. And if it's like 55, like, oh crap, does that mean I have to stop because I'm going to run out of money because I told 50 was the goal? And really there's a range and the trend involved that help determine whether you can just chill or not. So that's how I came about it. Because I was like, it's kind of like you don't want to have to think every time you go open up your analytics tool and there's a value and then like, oh crap, what does that mean? So I wanted it to really be like what time range and then what zone of numbers means that I don't have to, one less thing to worry about on my to-do list.
It was an unlock for me. And I hope this is maybe something that you hadn't heard either before, but was you were right. Like these platforms themselves, the Meta, the Googles, etc., they will not tell you to stop spending money. And that is almost inherently a value prop for a third-party attribution tool, such as Wicked Reports.
Correct. I mean, we architected a Google conversion upload tool with them 6 years ago. And we had this thing where you could spend more based on how much impression share. So if you have a search keyword and you're doing well and you want to spend more, if there's more impressions you're not showing for, theoretically, you could just spend more and make more money. And then I said, then I had a dragger to the left, though, where you could lower the spend. And they're like, oh, can you get rid of that? And we're like, well, what if you want to spend less? Because like it's not doing well. They're like, oh, we don't like to, do that. And I was like, well, I got to allow people to lower the ad spend or we can't like do this with you. So it was they were like, not even being like, trying to be sneaky about it, just didn't even compute with them. What do you mean you'd spend less? And I was like, because it ain't working.
That's the thing is, man, you're giving me like nightmares of back when we did ads. It was like you'd get a call and an email and a text message from your new Meta or Facebook rep of the week.
Still does.
They're like, hey, and like always their insight was, if you spend more money, you'll make more money.
On brand especially. Oh, you're not capturing all your brand. Like, yeah, I am.
It's like, well, they know my brand name. I don't need to spend on that.
Yeah. How come I have all this direct in Google Analytics, which although actually that's usually because it's crap, not stitching together a good journey, but I have all this direct. Why do I need to pay for the direct I'm already getting? They'd always want you to scale more in brand every time. That was like the first thing they would recommend. I was like, I'm not telling anyone this. I will lose all my credibility if I say scale brand first.
I'm going to ask you a curveball hard question. No, it's not that hard. I'm sure you're going to. If you're an e-commerce brand and you're kind of just getting into paid and you do have, you got some budget allocated, maybe I'll ask you about maybe what types of budgets we should be allocating. But, e-commerce, Shopify, direct consumer type world, what channel would you get started with? Or does it depend on the type of product? And then also like what budgets should people be expecting to spend? It's 2025 now.
Well, the channel depends heavily on the strategy you're going to try to use first. So if you're going influencer, that's TikTok all the way with some Facebook, Instagram. If you have something that has a low consideration cycle, then search, because you got to be able to win at search. And if you're going to do more a full funnel strategy, then you're going to want to use Meta plus Google plus email. All of them should have email SMS because that's the free channel that you can win on.
Yeah, well, hold on. Let me just really drill that in for some people. If you're going to pay money to send a stranger to your website and not get their email or SMS to then talk to them again forever for basically free, you've just wasted that $7, $8, $28 that you paid to get them to your website.
It's puzzling, even because people say, we're hearing this less, but sales report back, oh, yeah, well, they're pure e-com. So I go, yeah, so they don't capture emails?
Yeah, hold on. What does pure e-com mean? It like so many brands. Yeah.
It was more common too. Yeah, it was more common that people wouldn't have anything. And they're like, oh, opt-in capture? Yeah, we have like a game on the site or something. Like, yeah, whatever, call it what you want. Capturing the email, lead gen. Oh no, we don't do lead gen. We're pure e-com. I'm like, no, just are you capturing leads? So we had to change our.
That's goofy. All right. So that was a fantastic answer. Now, what would you say is like a realistic budget that a brand would need to to get started, or like what would they need to spend over 96 months to like get things actually rolling, to test the waters, to figure it out, because it's not like the first ad's going to be profitable.
I feel like 10 grand a month.
Yeah, that's kind of where my head's always been with suggesting to people. It's,
you do a couple grand, you could maybe do one funnel. Like you could maybe do $100 a day and then send them to some lead capture where they're going to opt into some special deal, founder, whatever your angle is. And then just redirect them to a URL that already had the deal and then just email the deal that you already have. That's a basic thing that got Wicked Reports going. Was we tracked, I wasn't Wicked Reports, it was Scott helping a friend. And he wasn't working on ads, and he did a Facebook ad to a landing page that redirected to the offer that he already had on the site. And then his emails were so good, he closed people throughout over the next 3 to 6 months. And then we just keep upping the value of that, mapping it back to the spend, and find that he made a really great return as long as he wasn't trying to get a same day profitability.
Yeah.
And now that's even harder because the clicks are too expensive.
Yeah, I think that's something that I would like to talk about and maybe highlight is like, I am on Reddit way too often, and I find myself in like the e-commerce and Shopify forums. Just, I see a lot of people like, I have to have a 5x ROI. It's like what?
Good luck.
It's like what? Yeah, it's what people are saying. But like, I think that they're like, what are some of like they're just straight up lies. Like, what are some of the lies you're seeing out there around marketing, about returns, about advertising, about attribution?
Well, the biggest thing I see is that people are trying to make a massive profit on the first sale. And really, you got to make the money on the second sale. The more you can lose or break even up front, the more you can bid, and the more then you can win. Because if you look at like a 90-day value of a customer, you can't say lifetime value, oh, they're worth $5,000. Yeah, over 5 years. And then you can't bid on that.
But your business is a year old, and you're saying the lifetime. It's like you're just making stuff up.
But you got to like try to say, what's a realistic like 90-day value I'm going to get? And I want to make money in 90 days. Then what do I have to do in the first 2 to 4 weeks of my customer experience? That's one where people throw around a lot of terms not based on a lot of like real data. They got to have it. If you don't have it in your new brand, you got to just, wing it. That's one I see. A lot of one is around, people will post their amazing results, and it's really including Facebook view through tracking, which means Facebook shows they're getting like a $50 customer, but really that's including their repeat buyers that bought on email, and Facebook happened to have a view, scroll through the ad and didn't even click on it, and it was within 30 days. That's a big just lie out there.
I could almost distill that down and be like, Mark, sometimes your attribution in platform, aka on Meta or on Google, they are saying they did more than they kind of did.
Or it reminds me of like, I got, I play like fantasy football, fantasy hockey. I go to those same sites all the time, and they've got ads all over the place, but I'm blind to them because I'm just in there managing my lineup of my team.
Yeah.
But then if they're on there and then I bought something I don't even know what I did last week. And like show me 30 days ago, an ad that I scrolled by and didn't see was the reason I bought today. That's ridiculous. There's no way.
I like to, and this is probably just because I'm in this game. It's like, I like to proudly be like, you know what? I'm going to buy this eventually. I'm just going to buy it right now. I'll give you guys some better numbers.
The beneficial ad click.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to fall for this eventually. I'll just do it. I'm going to write it off anyway.
Yeah, see, what I try to help though paid people by not clicking on the brand ad, because I'm like, I don't want to charge them $2 when I'm already going.
Oh no, I never click on the top results on Google. That is,
I don't want to hurt the brand that I'm supporting by charging.
You know what's funny? I even take that like to like the next, like when people do it in front of me. Like I see someone click on like the branded search result in front of me, I kind of like die a little inside, and like I'll even tell, I'll be like, no, it's like not that one, it's the third result, and sometimes like it's the same as this one. I'm just like, just click the third one.
Yeah. Just help a small brand out, save them $2,
yeah,
or more maybe.
All right, so when does kind of this attribution really start to matter? I'm assuming if you're just really running one channel, you can kind of do some tests without a platform to really figure out what's happening. So is it kind of like once you start getting into multi-platform kind of stuff, that's when it really starts to get a little more wild and you might need a...
It's a couple things. It's multi-channel, so more than one paid, or if you have more of a consideration cycle.
Well, explain consideration cycle for the listeners.
The consideration cycle means, is there multiple touch points because of either your price point being like, or it's a subscription that you have more commitment either in dollars or in, the subscription be dollars as well. Or if it's something where people got to learn about or research, they're just not going to click and buy because of one fantastic ad you wrote. The more complexity to the customer journey, that's when you need attribution. So let's say you're selling something that's $100. Well, that's not mega expensive, but $100 people aren't necessarily going to click and buy the first time they see the ad. They're going to have to get warmed up. And then if you find like when you send an email and then sales come in from the email, like right away, which usually that will happen, the more sales you're getting on email, the more likely you need attribution because people had to get on that list somehow. And then you have your first funnel. I'm doing something on paid to get, or organically, however, to get someone in on my list, and then I'm sending them emails, and that means there's usually a lag in time there. And so that's when attribution will stitch together and give value, ideally, to the things that got them aware of the brand. Because the top of the funnel is the hardest thing to do. Mm-hmm. It's the hardest thing to track, hardest thing to succeed in. And moving to this more AI world where Meta's Advantage Plus and Google's PMax, they're much better at, retarget, getting people hot in the market, but they got to be aware of your brand initially and get there.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you need to get the traffic to keep flowing, to keep filling the top of the funnel so that then those bottom of the funnel ads are going to work. So any type of full funnel strategy, we got different messaging top and bottom, which you should have. People react differently when they're getting used to a brand versus once they're, returning. So.
Hey, everybody, just a quick reminder. Please like this video and subscribe if you haven't. We're releasing interviews like this every week, so don't miss out. Now back to the interview. And I want to just highlight something. You said the basic funnel is ad at the top, email them, and they buy. That's the funnel. Now they have purchased. There's 2 touch points there, but I'm just going to distill, there should be more touch points. They should get on your list from that ad, and then you should have an amazing welcome series that educates them about the brand, the benefits, the values, the differentiation, your positioning, the offer, right? Multiple emails to win then one of the emails they purchase. If you're going to do an ad, one email and getting a purchase, I want to invest.
Yeah. I mean, that just doesn't happen, I don't think. In any case that does, they went viral right away. It was like unbelievable creative, or there's always special circumstances because you see some of those case studies. And it's not a case study that someone can emulate quickly or cheaply. Oh, we went viral like some like solo stoves. It's like, or Yeti. I went to a Meta conference and Yeti was up on stage showing how great Facebook was. I was like, everyone knows Yeti. Everyone already knows it.
That's one. I love going to conferences. I love meeting people in real life. Like half of the podcast guests now are people that I've met at conferences, but it does always kind of it just leaves something to be desired when it's just like, here is a F50 brand talking about how great their ads are. And it's like, well, of course your campaigns are great. Everyone is born and they know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to one at a Google one, and it was Macy's. A bunch of examples, and they had like bots that had to create They have so many products, so many SKUs. No human can even keep track of it all. Like this is, I'm sure that's its own challenge and everything, and they have skilled people, but like it doesn't relate to an e-com brand that's doing $100K a month or $200K a month or whatever. That's a lot harder work. Well, it's different work too.
Absolutely. To pivot a little bit, you mentioned earlier we were going to talk about frameworks today, and you've got your 5 forces frameworks. I love frameworks. They're fun to kind of wrap your head around. How do we get into that? How do we unpack that a little bit?
Sure. Well, it was actually based on a spiritual teaching I learned that I somehow applied to marketing. So I have a meditation class, and the idea around reality creation is you have an intention. You have expectations behind it, which you may or may not realize. You take an action. There's a consequence of the action. then there's your reaction to the consequences.
That's also based upon the ABCs of therapy.
Yeah. And so it just came to me, I don't even know how, that because I've been doing data analysis for a long time and then I've been training my team up, but I hated the whole concept that we had to come in and just magically figure it out for the people. Like it should have been easier to use. So it was easy like for us. And I was like, oh, we got this great spreadsheet. Our online spreadsheet's better than the other guys. But it's like, there's got to be a way to make life easier. So they're not in there, have to be grinding through the numbers all the time. So the framework 5 forces came about as a result of that, which was in it. The pain point before we get into that was also, which attribution model should I use? And how long should I measure until I do something? People struggle with that because everyone tries to find the magic one attribution model that's going to weigh all the touch points perfectly. And then they're going to go in after a couple days and look and see their Rosetta Stone of how to be rich. And that's just not how online marketing works in general. So that's what I set out to solve. So how it works is first do you have an intention? What are you trying to do with the campaign? It could be acquire new customers. It could be cold traffic that later converts, or it could be, I want people to buy my stuff right away. And based on the intention of that campaign, that tells us how to measure it. It gives us a scoreboard. You just think about like a sport. You could say, oh, I don't know, what's a sport that you like?
I mean, the only sport I watch is Ohio State football.
Oh, okay. Ohio State football. So let's say the game, like Ohio State football, the coach could have a great record, but if he didn't beat Michigan and he wasn't in the title game,
his job is on the line every year.
Job's on the line. And then if I'm working at Boston College down the road, if we go 9-3, they're going to erect a statue for the guy. So it's all relative. The scoreboard's relative, but also like in the game, if you win, but it's like 10-7, it's like, okay, well, we won and our defense was great. But if you're measuring from an offense perspective, the offense was terrible. Maybe the quarterback, like tons of incomplete passes. So all the different stats in the game depend on how you're evaluating it. So for intention, we're trying to get the right scoreboard to begin with. So for example, acquire new customers. That means from an attribution perspective, we only need to look at the things that drove a first purchase because that attracted the new customers, which then is going to make all your stats look worse because it's new people, which are harder to get. So we got to set a different goal. Then with the intention, it sets the primary metric because we get almost 200 data points if you count all the trends. And that's too much. And it can lead you on all these red herrings. So it gives us our North Star of what we should be optimizing on if we had to pick one number. New customer acquisition would be new customer acquisition cost. Then the second, so any question, that's step 1 of 5. Anything there for you? Or still clear?
No, not for me, but I'm sure the listeners out there are going to have questions, and I'm just going to tell them which website to go to later on.
So then the second step's expectations, because you got to set the expectations. So like for a football game, like you're installing a new offense, it could take a month until like you think you can start running the new plays in the game. Depends on, you got that incredible receiver there, that young guy, just throw bombs to that guy until you figure it out. Well, in attribution and marketing expectations is how are we going to measure it and how long until we can make a decision? Because if you're doing new customer acquisition, you got to get on board with the person that holds the budget. Hey, it's going to take 30 days or what depends on the time frame, because otherwise you launch it, you get all excited, put this work in. It's been 5 days. They're like, we're losing our shirt on this campaign. You're like, well, we normally takes 30 days to acquire a customer. We didn't suddenly crack the nut and make it 5 days. We need 30 days to measure it.
Yeah.
And you set a scale, chill, kill zone. You say at what value, what new customer acquisition cost range does it mean we're going to leave the budget as is? And that's where it's math and emotional math. You got to talk to the person with the budget and confirm like, hey, the math says we can do this and get them on record. You got to log it so that then, the budget people get finicky. You say, hey, we have a contract here. Said this is a good number and that I have 30 days and this is how we're going to measure it. Because otherwise they're going to go into Google Analytics they're going to look at Meta, they're going to look in Shopify.
Three days after the campaign launches, see they're paying $78 to acquire a new customer where 60 was the max, and you're like, it's 3 days is nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So we got talk tracks behind this stuff and everything, so you can manage them. But really, it's about logging the decision and then reviewing it in the status call. We agreed it's going to take 30, so you always have it up front So there's not, there's a risk of embarrassment to start going back on their name. You almost got to use that like leverage. Third step is outcome. It's taking the measurement the way you agreed to do it in the tool with the right North Star metric, and then plotting it on the scale, chill, kill zone to determine, do we have some work we have to do? And then after that, we're going to look at the optimization. So based on where it plots, that's where you might have work to do. Scale's a fun one, spend more money.
Mm-hmm.
Chill's like, okay, I don't have to do anything unless I have time on my hands, which is unlikely. And then kill is where the work comes in. So kill is then we then look at the 5 different strategic areas of, is it a traffic issue? Is it a creative or offer? Often it's one of those two. It could be a budget thing where the AI is just spending it all on one ad set or on 2 creatives, and these other great ideas aren't getting any money spent, because that happens. They do that quick. Like, oh my God, I had all these great ideas. How come this is tanked? And you're like, oh my God, they got like $12 ad spent. No one even saw it. Mm-hmm. It could be a customer quality issue because you're sending them to the page and your mass all based on a $200 AOV, and they're buying in at $100. They're buying some downsell, or, they're clicking around something on the site and it's crushing your unit economics. Or it could be product. It could be you're offering a SKU that's great with people on your email list. It's not good for a new customer. And so all these things get taken into consideration in a methodical framework, so then you can take action, but it kind of shrinks down all the things you got to worry about, lets the data help guide you to the decision.
Absolutely. Was that all 5, or do we miss one?
So intention, expectation. Yep. Expectation, action. I glossed over action. You take the action, then you measure the outcome. Mm-hmm. Then you optimize, then you take more action. So you reflect. And when you take the action, you do a decision log, because you log the decisions you make, because then you learn over time, or you log the decisions that you don't take. So if you're supposed to scale, but the budget person isn't letting you, I pick on the budget people. I mean, they're smart enough to earn the budget and have it, but they also sabotage. We see them sabotage their own success, or they don't give the agency or the media buyer the freedom to do their job. A lot of time, a lot of emotional things play out in the budget.
That's why we do not do paid ads anymore.
Just the ringer.
A lot of emotion-based decisions. This could just be turned into a soap opera. Me just like, but it's there is something just intrinsically weird about the relationship between a media buyer and like the founder, whoever holds the purse strings. It's the most finicky client we ever had in the history of the agency, and the most emotional, and also at times just would call people liars. And I was just like, this isn't the game we want to be in.
Yeah. So it really, that expectation phase is you're trying to get alignment on the scoreboard in the duration of the game.
I kind of like what you said earlier, get it on record.
Yeah. You get it on record, and then you just log things. It's not like, it's not cutting edge, but people don't do it a lot.
Yeah.
And we deal with a couple hundred agencies. So we see like brand will jump to another one, and they're, and it's a lot of alignment issues.
These days, if you're not recording your client calls, you can do it for free with Fathom or any other tool. Probably just if you're not recording your every client interaction, you're just signing up for headaches.
Oh, yeah. Fathom does a great job of summarizing them, I think. We don't use that, but I think it's killer. Yeah. So that creates like a not just an audit trail, but also continually reinforces, because the founders or the brand with the money is, they're doing 1,000 things every week. So maybe they get in, they had a bad week, or they're feeling pressure about the job. And then they see, wait a minute, why is the CAC $70? Why are we still doing this? And, just bringing them back to reality is, helpful for everyone.
Absolutely. Now, Scott, we could talk for another hour, but we'll save that for a future episode. Now, if I'm curious about the 5 forces, I just quickly want to talk about that before I pivot back to Wicked Reports, because I know you guys have some awesome stuff coming out here soon. Mm-hmm. That will probably had just launched by the time this episode airs. But like, if I'm curious to learn more about the 5 forces, you have 5forces.com. Obviously, they can head there. Anything else that you want to tell them about the 5 Forces website?
5forces.com is the place to go, or on LinkedIn. You can find me there. Wicked Reports Scott. We can do a deal for your listeners. We can do an honest code. Take $700 off the course. we'll run that through the end of the year. So
awesome. Yeah. Check that out. Now, pivoting back to Wicked Reports. So this is the reporting software marketing attribution platform that you are the CEO of. You guys are launching some cool stuff here soon. Let's just shout out and shine a spotlight on what you're doing with the software.
Sure. There's 3 big things we're launching, and then we'll always iterate. But this is kind of like our end game in terms of we feel like we've created the attribution easy button, and we're really excited about it. The first piece is that we have AI trained up on the 5 forces that will auto-analyze your account and give you very specific tactical advice per campaign and show the data as evidence. There's no black box. Just like we're transparent with our attribution, transparent with the AI has been months of vetting and tuning so that it will tell you what to do with your budget and what trends or key metrics or whatever are supporting the decision. And it's based on your intention you set for the campaign and your scale, kill, chill zone that you set based on the key metric for that intention. So it runs the framework for you, and it does a great job. It does better than a human now. It has been for months. So it's been in beta, be wide release come September.
That's amazing. And then you're adding in some new channels as well.
Yeah. So right now we have paid channels of Meta, Google, Microsoft, TikTok, Pin, and Snap. And then we're adding in email, SMS, and organic as well. And then we'll move on to creative analysis from there.
That's amazing, Scott. Again, you can go to 5forces.com, wickedreports.com. You can search for Scott on LinkedIn. Anywhere else you want me to point them towards?
No, that's good. I would say the other thing with our AI is we're trying to save time, but also information overload. Like we could have done 65 bots and all these different little ones, or we could have overwhelmed people with all the insights we could tell them. So we spent months making it digestible and quick and to the point. Or the point is, based on what you're trying to do, we want you to be able to get to where you're scaling that spend. And so we just specialized on that one specific goal in mind. We choose scale, chill, or kill.
I feel like that half my conversations with AI are just telling it to shut. I don't need, you're too verbose. Just answer the question, please.
We didn't want to do a chat bot. We didn't want to do a ton of agents. Nothing wrong with that. Cool technical stuff. But we purposely avoided that because I heard this infobesity. I heard someone say,
Ooh.
We're getting fat from too much information. Instead of info overload, called infobesity. I was like, huh? Person said it 3 times. I was like, oh, I kind of like that. Yeah, we're trying to keep you info thin.
I love that. Scott, thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing all these amazing insights.
Thanks for having me, Chase. It was fun.